Okay, there we go. All right. That was quite the struggle. Oh, all right. That's not what I wanted. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted. All right. We're back at it with... I have a couple of videos in store, actually. Close. I'm recording. What the heck? Why did my phone drop again? Lock. Mobile phone is not centered. No, this is centered. I don't care if it's not centered. Please keep it there. Don't angle it. Don't angle it, please. Lock. Oh. No, bro. Why is it not cooperating with me? This is the thing with the iPhone 16. The buttons are so off. So I think this is not. Because if I. Buddy, please. Alright. 4th time trying this intro. Okay, here we go. We got an Stretch Armstrong shirt on because today's episode is going to be arm wrestling. That's one of my favorite things. I love arm wrestling, so today I'll go over kind of the basics with you guys. So you see that arm wrestling table right there? We're going to play with it a little bit, so I'll bring y'all over there. Alright, so we got the arm wrestling table up. Okay. Oh shoot. Alright, so we got the arm wrestling table up. And I don't look too crazy. I really don't. But if you go to my little arm wrestling Instagram, Protein Cooper, check it out. Arm wrestled a bunch of people from high school. Very awesome. I'm gonna just go over my favorite technique. It's not quite the safest. You had to get used to it. So it's called the hook. And if you guys are familiar with arm wrestling, you guys will know what a hook is. And when, maybe some people who are boxers will think a hook is like bam or bam, with the pivot and everything. And the footwork, or Muay Thai guys, kickboxers. But a hook, when it comes to arm wrestling, right? Arm wrestling, a hook is basically, instead of your palm pointing the direction of your opposite arm, it's when your palm is, it can be like this. A hook is when you're really cupped, you have your wrist really flexed or supinated, where your palm is facing towards you. I personally like doing a supinated hook a lot. I go crazy with the supinated hook. So that's what I'm going to be training today. I'm going to go over like the muscle groups I'm kind of hitting with the hook training. So basically, we're going to be hitting a certain forearm muscle. I don't know the anatomy, guys. I really don't. There's the pronator muscle around here. Supinator, I don't know where that is. But we're just going to be focusing on the movement of pointing my palm towards my face. We're going to be working on bicep. We're going to be working on the lats in the back. So we're going to be learning how to working out the drag and side pressure. I would say it's like a combination of shoulder, tricep, and like your elbow joints, because we're going to be training going this way. So pressure is going up this way because it's pulling, and I'm going the opposite way. So a lot of torque. It takes a lot of time to get used to, but that's pretty much it. And I have my little. Okay. We have little distractions, but it's okay. So we're gonna cut that out. But anyways, I have a little arm wrestling contraption thingy that I use, and we got this. Cut. So we're just gonna go little. We're just gonna go light because I'm just making a video. So we're just gonna use one blue resistance band, I don't really know the resistance. I bought these off Temu, but they work a wonder, I tell you guys. So I say this is at least like 30, light 30 pounds from where I'm, like, you know how resistance band works. The further you are, the stronger it is. So we're not gonna do crazy resistance, but I normally do 2. But because of like the resistance, it moves like the whole table. So I had to angle the table. So basically, what I'm doing is very, just the side pressure movements. You could do supinated, right? So this is basically pretty much working like my wind move, my wind game. We just kind of engage your shoulder. That's the best way to do it. You really want to put your body weight into it. But it's awesome stuff. Like, I could really go into depth with it, but I don't want to bore you guys. So we're just gonna come out with a couple reps. Have your leg up. A lot of just going to the side. That's pretty much it. And if you train this, it makes it a lot easier for you to win. And I'm not using my tricep to push away. I'm keeping my arm at this angle, and I'm just going sideways. So I don't know if you guys could see, but I was just going like this. I'm not moving my arm at all. All right, and I'm not having my arm like outside of my shoulder because, more likely to break that way. So you always want your hand to be inside of your shoulder. Rep this out a couple times, and I have a big grip because a lot of people are going to be arm wrestling, especially for me. I'm tiny. They all have really big hands. And then I have this little PVC pipe that I put onto a little piece of string. The further you grip, the more torque. So it's like if I were to arm wrestle like this, right? It's applying force opposite to my supination. So it's making me go this way, but I'm forcing it to go this way. So I don't know if you guys can see from this angle, but it puts a lot of torque the further you grab. So I'm grabbing a little lower because I'm not trying to strain myself too much, but it does work quite wonders. You can do that reverse exercise and get your shoulder into it. If you roll your shoulder into it, it's a lot easier because it changes the pressure and position. And it's not cheating, guys. Professional arm wrestling. Watch it. Watch how people arm wrestle. There's so many different ways. But yeah, that's the main gist of my hook move. And it's just, if you guys arm wrestle me, you guys will know. So there's a lot of different ways to do a hook. My way is like a combination of like every way, I guess. So I'm just gonna do it on a regular pull, but we're gonna do the pulling motion of it now. But also I'll try and do like an angled version so you guys can see better. But a lot of times when I want to show you guys an example. I'll show you guys up close later. There's going to be a lot of cuts in this video because of a lot of distractions. But anyways, with the hook, you want to, this is me personally, you really want to engage your lats. So you want to keep your elbow close to you. But you also want to keep your arm at a certain angle. I personally think, actually, you know what, for all arm wrestling, it's the best for you to have your hand closest to you and your elbow, because that way you're like, you're really strong in this position, at least for me. So like you want to get into like a really deep hook, get your shoulder engaged, right? And then you can just drag back at an angle and just drive your opponent's hand to the side, Just like that. So if I were to do it step by step, right, without holding nothing, you have your opponent's hand. A lot of people want to grab high right? And compromise the opponent's wrist. So basically your opponent's gonna be like, oh, no, my wrist. And you know, without your wrist, you're a lot weaker. But I mean, I used to arm wrestle like that, but I like having my opponent at their utmost limit. So I hook, because that means their wrist is bent too. And if their wrist is bent too, they're pretty strong. But if you know how to beat them that way, it's so fun. So that's why I always do hook. So every time I start with hook, you know, I try and have my elbow relatively close, not like touching my body. Although I should start doing that because, you know, you win better that way. But anyways, shoulder and elbow, you want your elbow within your shoulder. You don't want it out your shoulder because you'll be stronger this way. I don't know, some position kind of thing. And you know, you grip your opponent. You want to really like grip around your opponent. You want to cover as much hand or wrist as possible. And then if you can, try and like really get like deep. You want your hand to kind of be like this onto their hand. And then you could either supinate or you could just keep your hand bent like this. And then what I basically do is, you know, I grip, I supinate, and then I drag, and I bring my shoulder I bring my elbow below my shoulder, and I'm just like hella strong in that position, defensive and offensively. And I'll just hold it, you know, and I'll lean into it too. So like I'm just compact and everything, all your muscles are tight, everything's really strong. And then I just go at an angle. I don't just go back, and I don't just go to the side. I go at an angle. So instead of like, you know, picture like a box, instead of just going down or going to the side, kind of go at an angle. Because you're chopping them at an angle, you're going back and to the side, and both is better. And if you use geometry or trigonometry, right, these angles of the square, or these sides of the square, are going to be shorter than if you're going this way, this side of the square. The Pythagorean theorem, guys. Pythagorean theorem. Or that's the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is longer than every side, basically. And with that vector of force, you're applying the most power, basically. And me personally, when you arm wrestle, you want to activate as many muscles as you want. So if you don't have like a little crazy contraption thing that like I have, you could do your own arm wrestling exercises, you know, rows, you know, that's for the dragging, bicep curls, preacher curls. You could do like table curls, although people say those aren't very beneficial. I think it's really good for defense. So an arm wrestling table curl is just pretend this is a barbell, like really heavy, or dumbbell, and you get really close and you just, bam, try and lift it up. That's pretty much it. I do those sometimes just to see where I'm at. But I like working with resistant bands. I don't see a lot of arm wrestlers working with resistant bands. But with resistant bands, the further you take them, the harder they are. The stronger they get, basically. So it's not like weights where, like, you know, they're really consistent amount of force. The further you pull it, the more tension it has. So that's why it's so fun. It's like, I personally think it's a little better than weights, because if I do back pressure, supinated back pressure, or, you know, just regular back pressure, right? It's not quite going at the angle, but it's kind of going at, I guess it's, I don't know, but the further you go, the harder it is to pull it down. Yeah. It's pretty nice. So I think I'll just be training, I guess, quality form instead of strength right now. So, long time with this 12-minute video already. Damn. So I do quite a little bit of sets with the hook exercise, actually. So we do a couple side pressure surges with, you know, high hook. So high hook is just you're up high, and you just have your wrist bent, basically. So we're just up high, and we just go to the side, basically. So just do a couple reps. Bam, bam, bam. I do some other ones where it's supinated, so not quite as high, but we're supinated like this, basically. So kind of like a typical bicep curl. And we'll just go to the side again. It's not a lot of pressure, so I'm not trying like crazy hard. I mean, I just did have a pretty long day at work. I love working, but you know, you always get tired. And then I do like a drag, so I keep the hook basically at this angle, and I go like this. I don't even go to the pin pad. I just go to the side. So it helps you with like center game basically. And then it's kind of the same as like the first one, but I do like a rocking one. So I go like, you know, you're doing surges, I go 1, 2, and then on the third one you go bam. So that, for me, that's what I call like a rocking hook. You could do a rocking supinated hook, rocking anything basically. 1, 2, 3. But yeah, it helped me a lot. I have an arm wrestling story actually. So if you go to my Instagram, my arm wrestler guy, I call him Ivan Drago because he's hella big and strong, like Ivan Drago. He gave me a month to train, and man, dude, I went crazy. So I stand by those workouts. I made a hook workout, top row workout, King's move and press, and then back press and wrist flexion. I have not been doing it, but I did it for a month consistently. Boy, I think that's what brought me to my victory, bro. Because if I had arm wrestled him a month prior, ooh, he would have cooked me. He would have totally cooked me, I tell you guys. But yeah, that's my little arm wrestling regimen. We're gonna do some arm wrestling wrist curls. So you could get like a PVC pipe. Have the wrist bent over your wrist, right? Over, and then grab the PVC pipe. So that way, because it's over, you could bring it to like this, and then you can just do wrist curls. Wrist curls, wrist curls. And then you could reposition it by like wrapping it around. So now the pressure is below. So you could target your different fingertips, which I think is good for the hook. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's low battery. I guess we'll end the video here. You guys are awesome. We love you guys. I'll try and make more in-depth, but quicker explanations of arm wrestling. So let's run it. See you guys later. Do some more arm wrestling stuff. And maybe I can show you guys some of my arm wrestling numbers.